Speaking of a good life, you know who doesn't have good lives? Disgusting games journalists. Game journalists who, for over the past, 7 years or so, have just continued to display the absolute dumpster piles that they are. They're fucking trash. And what we saw a few days ago surrounding Hogwarts Legacy was pretty fucking gross, honestly. Because imagine getting upset and trying to cancel someone simply because he has like a centrist opinion, like that doesn't fall in line with you, but also isn't anything super offensive. That's what they tried to do to one of the devs, the lead designer, in fact. Let me share my screen here. And it was Kotaku where I first saw all of this. Hogwarts Legacy lead designer used to run anti-social justice YouTube channel. How dare he? Troy Leavitt is a lead designer at Warner Brothers development studio Avalanche Software, currently working on a controversial Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy. He also ran a reactionary YouTube channel focused on attacking feminism and social justice for over a year. I would say
reactionary is my favorite word because no one ever defines it.
It's just when you react to something, Mark.
I didn't know what the fuck it meant. Now ended up on that freaking stream of what's his face who hates my guts. And
Ryan, I know the definition of it, but the people who use it, like the people who will say to me, "Oh, you're a reactionary," I was like, well, because I react to video games. They're like, "No, because you work for Geeks and Gamers." They think it means conservative.
Yeah,
like something to that effect.
And I was like, "What is that?" I don't understand what that. I didn't understand what it meant. I'd never heard it. I just thought it meant like a reaction channel, like Tyrone Magnus or some shit. Like, and then I guess it has this political meaning to it that these weirdos.
Basically, that's what like alt-right people are labeled.
Yeah,
as.
Right.
That's what it is. Like as if the only way you can react is if you are hating people for the color of their skin or like something like that. That's what they mean by reactionary nowadays. The information was first provided by Did You Know Gaming contributor Liam Robertson, who highlighted the channel, and of course, that little beta bitch. Fucking protect his account. I don't know if did he block me? Yeah, that fucking piece of shit blocked me.
Really, it sounds like you would be so civil to him online.
I never said anything to this cunt. I've never fucking said anything. I've never interacted with him on Twitter, but this douchebag blocked me. So now I'll say really bad things about you, you fucking cuck. But anyway, he shared a screenshot that was basically the YouTube channel. He said, this person used to run a far-right YouTube channel criticizing feminists and social justice. Yeah, far-right. Now, listen, I have gone to Troy Leavitt's YouTube channel. I've watched actually a lot of his content since then. It is the most milquetoast shit. I don't think he swears. He doesn't really talk about politics. He does talk about the focus on social justice and identity politics being pushed into games and why people push back against that. He has critiques of Anita Sarkeesian that are not like me and Jeremy, where we sit up and say what an insufferable bitch she is. No, it's things literally like analytically breaking down and picking apart her points, something that Mark would do, right? Like that's what Troy Leavitt's YouTube channel is like.
And that's the thing that they were making an overall like narrative about his YouTube channel, but they weren't saying anything specific about his takes, which made it even worse. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he talked about Anita Sarkeesian, but what did he say? What did he say that was so bad? Simply because he has opinions that you don't agree with. That's essentially what they were upset about. It's such fucking bullshit, man. It's unbelievable.
A lot of these people don't like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the fact that he even said that he told Warner Brothers about it and they cleared it, yet these fucking games journalists still wanted to come at even coordinated effort to try to make all of these articles. The employer already knew about it, and you still decided to do this bullshit. Fuck games journalists, dude. They are trash. They are fucking trash. Pissed me off.
Yeah, like they are literally the reason that his shit exists, that his channel exists because of games journalists and the fucking things that they've done. I wanted to show this. Let me pull this up real quick. This is Sophia Narwitz. It's almost like this industry is one-sided and ideologically driven, but that's just a Gamergate conspiracy because immediately every single thing had the same headline, right? Anti-social justice, anti-social justice, anti-social justice, Gamergate. It's nonstop with these people.
They're so obsessed with Gamergate. It's never going to end for them. That's like the ultimate boogeyman. He's like Michael. Gamergate's Michael Myers to them. It just keeps coming back. It doesn't fucking end.
Well, also their definition of Gamergate is they just distill it down to the harassment. Like it's none of the actual points or issues from people who maybe unsuccessfully at times, but at least we're trying to make salient points based on actual arguments. Those people are all entirely ignored. It's just the people who threaten to kill Anita Sarkeesian or Zoe Quinn or like any
allegedly
the people saying stuff that let's assume it's true. Let's assume they actually did.
Let's assume that there was a sniper at Brianna Wu's house. Yes.
Sure. But that's what I mean. Like even giving all that to say that everything that was going on the like the side of the Gamergate issue that wasn't the like games journalists and social justice-y people side, everyone on that other side were doing the death threats. That all they were doing was death threats. And painting it like that, it's like you can't actually believe that. Like, but they will often bring it up as just like, oh, it was a hate campaign organized around attacking women. And it's like, well, no, it was a hashtag, so people did whatever the hell they wanted to do with the hashtag. Some of those people had decent points and turned into pretty decent YouTubers. Other people were probably trolls sending death threats that probably got banned from Twitter at some point, and that's pretty much the end of their stories entirely. Yet 4 years later or whatever, we're still hearing about it now, and it's everything comes back to Gamergate. It's just like, oh my God, shut up.
It was about games journalists having a disgusting reciprocal relationship with game developers. And what do you know, 7 years later, that's still the fucking case. That's why they hate it so much, because they were exposed by all these people. That's why they have to keep the march on about it was just a harassment campaign against women, because that invalidates, or it attempts to invalidate, all the things they said that were true. There is a masturbatory relationship between these games journalists themselves and the developers. And all of them have no interest in serving the fans in any way.
No, absolutely fucking spot on. But what's even better is the Warner Brothers reply, where they're like, cool, we know about it. We're not going to say anything about it publicly, which I think is a good reason. But then they were just like, dude, just make the game. That's all we care about. It's like, well, that's like the perfect response.
Yeah, right here.
I've never read a single Harry Potter book. I've only seen the first two movies. I couldn't care less about this game, but now I'm actually kind of interested.
Yeah.
So all I ended up doing was signal boosting this game.
They really did. Some of you have expressed that due to my commentary on some game industry controversies and my sympathies for the Gamergate movement, that I might have a difficult time should I ever want to return to professional game development, Leavitt said. I'm happy to say that even though I disclosed my YouTube channel to WB Games, it didn't appear to be an issue for them. Not that they endorse anything I've said, of course, but at least they seem more concerned with making good games than with pushing some kind of social justice agenda. So there is hope.
And if we're going to bring it up, then, okay, where's the game you're supposed to make, Zoe?
Yeah, exactly.
That's another thing we could talk about. But I think that the more important thing that's scary about this is that, okay, let's say this guy's channel was 20 times worse than it actually is, and there actually is legitimate stuff that says, okay, yeah, this guy on YouTube was a very harmful voice that would have set a lot of movements back years. Like, I don't know, he would have made it so that gay marriage would never become legal if people saw his videos. Let's assuming that is the case, which it's not, but like for sake of argument, if he is now no longer making YouTube videos and is just developing a video game, is the whole thing that is like, if you ever made a YouTube channel that talks about that stuff, you're just not allowed to have a job doing anything else ever? They want you to quit. They want you to quit doing the YouTube channel, but also they don't want you to have a job doing anything else. Like, is that the argument?
That's their mindset. Yeah. Look what they've done to Gina Carano. Like, they got her fired, and then they still want her. They don't want her to have the ability to speak. They don't want her to have a platform. They don't want any of this shit. And again, look, at the end of the day, normal people are tired of this shit, and normal people far outnumber this small minority of people. And you're starting to see more people wake up to this bullshit. Like, as a matter of fact, and I'm gonna share a video with you guys. I got it pulled up to the if we're done making our points on this specific topic. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think the fact that it's Harry Potter and they have such this weird hate boner for J.K. Rowling, even though she is a fucking SJW herself, she just said that people with dicks can't bleed from them, which is fucking true.
I think she was a little more gentle than that about. I think if she just came out and said "fuck you, trans people, women with dicks can't bleed from them," then they might have had a point in trying to cancel her.
Well, people with dicks, anyway, but the fact that it's Harry Potter is probably a factor in why they're.
Oh, it's a huge factor. It's a huge factor.
Yeah, and all I ended up doing was making it. All I did was signal boost it. It's kind of funny.
The funniest thing is after the J.K. Rowling controversy started happening, all you were hearing from these people was like, guys, don't worry. J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in this game, so we don't have to feel bad about buying it. And all I was hearing is like, we really don't want to have to read another book. Because like for some reason, people that just love Harry Potter are just, they're salty about J.K. Rowling having the views that she has on like, women only spaces, I think was kind of the big thing, like women's change rooms and things like that. And they don't want to associate with her because of that. But they also can't stop talking about how they're Hufflepuffs and Ravenclaws and shit.
Yeah.
So they don't want to bother just like being like, okay, well, a person who we hate is the brain behind Harry Potter, so let's just leave Harry Potter behind. Like they're obsessed with still getting everything that has a Harry Potter logo on it, but they also want it to agree with all their politics. And it's just, you're never gonna have that make sense. Like you've got to just be like, okay, I think the only exception is if the person does something reprehensible to the point of like it being difficult to look at that person the same way, like the Kevin Spacey stuff. I think it's like when you're dealing with him kind of abusing young preteen boys, it's like, well, it's kind of hard for me to get behind a Kevin Spacey project at this point.
No, watch House of Cards. He's a believable character in that one.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, like Usual Suspects. Like I think he's a good actor.
No, I know what you're saying.
There is an element of like, it's kind of hard for me to watch Kevin Spacey.
No, absolutely.
Now.
Absolutely.
But like, I think but I mean, if it's not, that's fine. It's just like, I mean, I think that, but you're dealing with like J.K. Rowling had a spicy take on Twitter. It was like she didn't abuse any children.
You know what? The only reason it was spicy was because it was on Twitter. That's the only reason that take is controversial at all. Because that's actually the way most people.
The thing is though, and I agree with you. I actually don't think what she said was really that controversial. But it like framing it like that kind of sounds like it's not bad because she did nothing wrong. And I'm not even making that argument. I'm making that even if what she said was totally wrong, like then just don't buy Harry Potter stuff is my point. And they're like, well, but we want to buy Harry Potter stuff. We just don't want her to profit from it. It's like, well, she created that universe. She's going to make money off it. And now they're going to be like, good news, guys. The lead developer of the Harry Potter game actually had nothing to do with the game. We can still buy this game and play it.
Well, it's like these are the same people rejoicing J.K. Rowling when she retroactively turned Dumbledore gay, right?
It's like the first person to do that too.
Yeah, like she like that's the thing. They celebrated her for all of this stuff. For when they were like when Hermione was going to be a black person in the play, and she's like, "Oh, that's completely fine. I never mentioned her, like because she was going off the identity
the
politics, virtue still bullshit." And people like, "That's strange because you said she had a very pale face right here. That's strange in this book that you wrote, J.K. Rowling." Like she is a fucking SJW, but she has one thing that doesn't align with that.
It's the Rosario Dawson element. People have got to start speaking out against this. So I'm so tired of it. And this is another example of that, what we saw with this Harry Potter thing. I mean, this guy, like, I haven't watched the guy's content, but Ryan has. And I mean, Ryan's saying he's kind of... he ain't nothing compared to me and Ryan, with our takes.
No, he's very like it's like if Mark ran an anti-SJW channel, like that's what it is. That's what it would be. Not even fucking around. Like he doesn't yell, he doesn't scream, he doesn't curse.
Very polite about my criticisms of Sarkeesian.
Yeah, exactly.